Hello and very warm welcome at Amish Shackle 5858. I am Amish Shackle. Foreign news have been reported by American, European, Asian, African, Australian news channels and the news agencies. So please let's go to the headlines.
David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight there is breaking news right now involving the U.S. and Iran tonight. What's now happened to these talks? Vice President J.D. Vance had been ready to leave Washington today for Pakistan. Tonight he hasn't left. Iran now refusing to commit. President Trump tonight, after making threats, now saying he will extend the ceasefire. It all comes tonight as dramatic new images show U.S. troops boarding a tanker believed to be linked to Iran. Also tonight, the alarming new images, tourists running for their lives, including many Americans, when a gunman opens fire, taunting tourists at that ancient pyramid outside Mexico City. Tonight, what we have just learned, what they found on the gunman, the images involving Columbine. In Philadelphia tonight, a driver smashing through the front doors of police headquarters. Multiple people in the lobby hit. Tonight at JFK Airport, news of yet another alarming close call. 2 passenger planes. You will hear air traffic control tonight telling one plane you're in the flight path of the other. What happens next? Meantime, the dramatic images tonight, the plane coming down, crashing into power lines. Tonight, 2 heated showdowns unfolding on the Hill. Health Secretary Robert F. grilled the measles outbreak, and President Trump's nominee to be the next Fed chair is asked if he promised the president he would cut rates. Just in tonight, FBI Director Kash Patel now speaking out about that report in The Atlantic alleging Patel's drinking has led to multiple unexplained absences and a concern across the government. What Patel just said. The image igniting global outrage at Israeli soldiers seen destroying a statue of Jesus. And what's now happened tonight? Back in the U.S. tonight, men with assault rifles surrounding an armored car, how much they got away with, and the urgent manhunt right now. The electric wheelchair exploding into flames. Tonight, hear the Yankees pitcher who says he's received death threats before playing the Red Sox in his hometown. And tonight here, we remember a key member of the Osmond family.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir. Good evening.
As Sudan's civil war enters its 4th year, the head of the country's armed forces, General Abdel Fattah Burhan, arrived in Jeddah on Monday for talks with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Their discussion focused on ensuring Sudan's security and stability and preserving its sovereignty, according to the Saudi press agency. Riyadh is also due to host a Sudanese-Saudi business forum in June to address investment challenges. Trade between the two nations is estimated at $8 billion, driven by Saudi imports of livestock and agricultural goods. The kingdom has backed the Sudanese armed forces in their war with the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, providing political and financial support. It's also served as a primary mediator in the conflict, alongside the US, Egypt, and the UAE. Abu Dhabi, meanwhile, is accused of supporting the RSF with money and weapons, claims it denies.
Diplomatic efforts are back in focus across the Middle East as key leaders engage in talks on regional conflicts. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi met in Cairo with US envoy Masoud Boulos to discuss developments in Sudan and Lebanon. During the meeting, el-Sisi praised US President Donald Trump's efforts to secure a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah. However, new developments have complicated the situation. Shortly after Trump announced plans for renewed negotiations with Iran, US forces seized an Iranian-flagged cargo ship near the Strait of Hormuz, raising questions about the future of those talks. Iran has condemned the seizure as piracy and indicated it has no current plans to participate in upcoming negotiations with Washington. Meanwhile, Israel confirmed another round of discussions with Lebanon. As talks continue, attention now turns to whether those efforts can move forward in the days ahead.
It marks the final stop on his Africa tour. Pope Leo touched down in Equatorial Guinea on Tuesday and was greeted by the president, scores of fans, and a red carpet welcome. It follows a 3-day visit to Angola. During the flight, Leo paid homage to his predecessor Pope Francis a year after his death. During the visit, all eyes will be on his increasingly vocal defences of human rights. Throughout his trips to African nations, which started earlier this month, the pontiff has denounced tyranny while championing peace and social justice. Many are waiting to see whether the pattern will continue in Equatorial Guinea, where he will be hosted by
This is Asia First.
Good Wednesday morning. It's 9 a.m. here in Singapore. I'm Julie Yu. The top stories we're tracking this hour. An 11th hour intervention. U.S. President Donald Trump extends a ceasefire with Iran just hours before it's due to expire. He says the move will give Tehran's fractured leadership time to form a unified proposal. It follows a request from mediator Pakistan as uncertainty clouds planned peace talks in Islamabad. Despite the extension, Washington says its naval blockade of Iranian ports will remain in place. Asia-Pacific stocks moving off session lows on the ceasefire announcement, despite growing concerns that the Middle East conflict could drag on. Sarah, Hollywood Business News. Oil prices also in focus as traders assess the extended truce after Brent briefly climbed back above $100 a barrel.
I'm Arnold Gay. Tehran dismisses the extension as a ploy to buy time for a surprise strike and says it must take the initiative. It warns the U.S. blockade amounts to military aggression and could trigger a response. Negotiations in limbo with neither side confirming a second round of talks. Vice President J.D. Vance has reportedly postponed a planned trip to Pakistan. Rising geopolitical tensions are also weighing on global shipping.
I'm Roland Lim at Singapore Maritime Week at the Suntec Singapore Convention Exhibition Centre. With disrupted routes and higher fuel costs, find out what resilience looks like for an international shipping line operating across this region. I'll be speaking with the Chief Marine Officer of PIL, Pacific International Lines.
Plus, Hezbollah says it has attacked northern Israel in response to alleged truce violations despite a 10-day ceasefire. Talks are due in Washington this week as Lebanon seeks €500 million to address the humanitarian fallout. And also this morning,
I do not believe that independence of monetary policy is threatened when elected officials state their views on rates. Fed independence is up to the Fed.
President Trump's nominee to replace central bank chief Jerome Powell outlines his commitment to independent monetary policy during his confirmation hearing before the Senate Banking Committee. But first, President Donald Trump says he has extended a ceasefire with Tehran to give Iranian
This is DW News, our top stories. U.S. President Donald Trump says he is extending a ceasefire with Iran at Pakistan's request until an Iranian proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded. But he is keeping a blockade of Iranian ports in place. The announcement came as the 2-week truce was set to expire and another round of peace talks in Islamabad failed to materialize. Both countries have warned that without a deal, they are prepared to resume fighting. French President Emmanuel Macron and Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam have urged further negotiations to shore up a fragile Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire. Macron said a lasting stabilization of Lebanon can only occur through an Israeli withdrawal from Lebanese territory. Lebanon and Israel are due to hold talks in Washington later this week. Japan has scrapped a ban on lethal weapons exports in a change to its long-standing pacifist policy. The move allows the export of warships, missiles, and other weapons as Japan aims to expand its arms industry. The policy change has divided public opinion and angered China.
Well, will they or won't they? Meet in Islamabad, that is. The US...
Next Wednesday on ABC TV and ABC iView. Today, major changes to the National Disability Insurance Scheme to be unveiled this hour in a bid to rein in government spending. Minister Mark Butler to also outline changes to at-home aged care services after the government reversed its co-payment policy. Iran accuses the US of a ploy to buy time after Donald Trump extended the ceasefire. And the e-safety commissioner put some of the biggest online gaming platforms on notice over concerns of grooming and radicalisation. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Melissa McKay. The disability...
This is Sky News, the headlines. As planned talks appear to fall through, Donald Trump says he's prepared to wait until Iran's leadership can submit a unified proposal for peace. Opposition parties say Sir Keir Starmer must go after the top civil servant he sacked makes claims of constant pressure from Downing Street to approve Lord Mandelson's security vetting.
The direct written pressure was get this done and get it done before inauguration.
Facial recognition systems are to be introduced across the UK after a human rights challenge fails. And the Energy Secretary rejects wokeism claims as he backs green energy in response to the economic shock from the Iran war. Good morning. Well, Donald Trump has said he is extending America's ceasefire with Iran until discussions are concluded. The comments came as planned talks between the two countries appear.
On this Tuesday night, chilling moments as a gunman goes on a shooting spree at a popular Mexican archaeological site.
We knew they were being shot, so we ran.
The Canadians caught in the crossfire and what police are revealing about the gunman. Alberta's separation slopaganda.
And every day we work hard.
The AI-generated disinformation and how it's promoting lies and division. Sky-high frustration.
Stop there!
Get us home!
Why some travelers want to take WestJet to court. Plus, celebrations fit for the Queen.
God bless you, darling Mama.
Honoring Her Majesty on what would have been her 100th birthday.
Global National with Donna Friesen.
Good evening and thanks for joining us.
Fox News alert. President Trump says the U.S. is extending the ceasefire with Iran at Pakistan's request as he waits for a, quote, unified proposal from the regime. Now, that news just breaking in the last few minutes. And Fox News White House senior correspondent Jackie Heinrich has the very latest. Jackie.
Yeah, well, what we don't know is whether the negotiating team from the U.S. side, that includes the Vice President, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, is in fact going to head to the Middle East. There have been several reports that travel is on hold, potentially indefinitely, but also that it could resume at any time. We've not heard any official statement from the White House side about that travel plan, but the ceasefire has been extended apparently indefinitely while the blockade stays in place. This is what the president said. Based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly so, and upon the request of Field Marshal Asim Munir and Prime Minister of Pakistan, we've been asked to hold our attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. I've therefore directed our military to continue the blockade and in all other respects remain ready and able, and will therefore extend the ceasefire until such time as their proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded one way or the other. There has been some analysis, including from our own General Jackeen, talking about who actually has the power to make a deal right now inside of Iran. You have the negotiating team that includes the foreign minister, might not have the authority to sign off on a deal, a power grab happening right now from some IRGC leadership, including the new chief of the IRGC, General Vahidi, who is sort of credited as the architect of Iran's overseas terror organizations, very big hardliner. And so there seems to be, what the president's alluding to, some question about whether Iran's government has itself together, who it's comprised of and who we're dealing with on that side, who's got the authority to sign off on something. And the president seems willing to wait to resume fighting until this diplomatic option, if it's possible, can be hashed out. But what is unclear is whether that will include travel from the U.S.
The Football Mafia on France 24.
Welcome back to Night Watch here on France 24. Our headlines for you this hour. Donald Trump extends a ceasefire with Iran at the request of Pakistan to allow time for the new leadership in Tehran to put forward a unified proposal. He said the US blockade of Iranian ports would continue until then. Vice President J.D. Vance has postponed his trip to Islamabad pending a new proposal. President Emmanuel Macron reaffirms France's support for a ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon as he hosts Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam in Paris. The 10-day pause in hostilities is already under strain as both Israel and the Iran-backed group Hezbollah accuse the other of violations. The former head of the UK Foreign Office says he was under constant pressure from the Prime Minister's office to rush the appointment of Peter Mandelson as US Ambassador. Ollie Robbins' testimony intensifies scrutiny on Keir Starmer over the appointment of Mandelson, who had links to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
Thank you for watching. I'm Shakil 5858. I hope you will come again. Have a good life. Bye-bye.